This week on F's in the Chat.
Oh no!
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is ZloyXP, and Grian has merchandise, and Wells Knight went to Twitch. While shilling for either is not exactly our job, it would be polite to at least point you in the direction of Wells Knight's newest endeavour, now that he doesn't feel safe on YouTube as a platform. So maybe drop him a follow, a link will be in the description. He's not the only loss though, as we see more and more people succumb to the not being alive disease, but we'll get more into that once the different music starts. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
Are you kidding me? This is next level evil.
Starting with Doc M fulfilling his side of the deal with Rendog.
Right. What?
Whoops, you had an envelope. Hey, this is a construction site. I warned you.
So Doc gets a Zedaf head and Zedaf gets a headache, but karma seems to be at play here. On his way back to the main island, Doc almost gets killed by an explosive trap on the ice road. Oh my, I wonder whose trap that was.
I come through the portal, jump on the pressure plate to get a boat out of the system, and the TNT was dispensed. You could see the TNT laying right there.
With his paranoia level raised to Defcon 1, he spots a few more traps on the way back and eyeballs the pressure plates all over the nether hub with suspicion. But having escaped death, he gets back to work on his hyper-efficient raid farm before being invited over by a still-alive Keralis, who just wants to give him a tour of the sewer system and commission a 3x3 piston door.
Right, you just click this. And click it again. It's magical. It's magic, yeah.
Okay.
Doc obliges, but instead of taking payment now, he asks for a cut of the demise winnings if Keralis wins. With all these deals going down, one way or another, the Doctor is getting paid.
Like, I mean, this is... nobody would have known. Nobody will know that there's a door over there.
Nope.
Unless somebody snitches.
Naturally, this means that if Doc transfers to the other side before Keralis, the whole bunker is compromised, but Keralis is too busy playing more Run to realise that. He also discovers a well-decorated meeting room in the IDEA facility put together by Azuma, who in his own time had done a lot of shop-adjacent activities lately.
Right, if I killed you with TNT, that would be perfectly acceptable.
Hey!
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, Flint and Steel lighting a TNT block does make the game count it as a PvP kill, so this stunt wouldn't count anyway. The highly explosive box of the bunker shop does at least inspire X to put together an even more obvious way for the still breathing to pass over to the dead side, the Demise Yourself shop. This one drops 4 TNT on you at once, nicely eradicating the client, leaving only the fresh scent of pine, unless they're wearing blast protection armor.
So I think it's going to be far more likely that a hermit would wander in here, first of all with their wings on, and probably not with any blast protection, because I seem to be the only one who ever bothers with those kind of enchantments. And so, just like that, kaboom!
The dead get their own series of outlets, one's operating on rotten flesh as a currency. In the Halloween district, or as we'd like to call it, the Demise zone, the grayscale people can grab some fairly cheap TNT, fairly cheap garbage armor, and entirely free horse stables, which is more love than the Halloween district got through the entirety of Halloween, need I remind you. Lastly, there is this moment where Azuma goes directly for Team Alive's finest men and adds 4 additional challenges for Cubfan to Mr. Invincible through. But we all know that the challenges Cub set up for himself were more than enough.
Oh, we made it. We made it through the first one. We made it through the second one. There we go. Can we make it? The third one. I was expecting to go further than this.
The 3 final trials Cubfan made went entirely not how one would expect, when the very first athletic fit didn't kill him, but it didn't exactly let him win either. The momentum from the jump was only enough to leave him stuck on a single block in a lava pool, after which a skeleton lured in by Azuma finished Cub off.
PvP? PvP is not allowed. It's not allowed, but...
Oh no! No! Coming!
Oh well, he would have died on the 3rd trial anyway.
No!
No!
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
I can't blame it on
Yep.
Azuma now.
In an expected twist, this does not bother him in the slightest, and he leans in all the way, now claiming the name of Mr. Inevitable and going nuts on the trap placement. The plan seems to cut off the server from the modes of transportation first and foremost. Nether hub highways and the main hub portals are rigged to explode, lava dump, and potion harm.
Somebody falls in that little lava pit there after hitting this glass pane.
As expected, this pulls out the floor and probably there's some lava below. Are you kidding me?
But they don't even come close to the brilliance of the end platform trap he set up, which Cub is quite giddy to try out, judging by the deal he's made with Doc M.
A stack of diamonds, plus you have to make somebody go to the end.
Just somebody. Anybody.
This seems like a sound strategy since the portal traps already have a kill count. The one rigged by Stress Monster and Rendog catches one good times with Scar to a very unfortunate end.
Oh, it burns! How do you get out? No, I'm dead!
It turns out in the afterlife, Scar has found all the muscles Iskall lost, or maybe that jelly lifting regimen really worked out for him. Anyway, for now, Scar himself remains as threatening as a kitten, and focuses his time on the cherry factory rather than on killing people. The facility miraculously is lit up, and then just as miraculously decorated. Now ready for the moving bits to move in, the moving bits being foxes. The redstone will indeed be made via villager trading, butchers to clerics. Berries come in, red dust comes out.
Oh, we made it! We made it. Okay, guys, come on. Come back to Scar.
So while there isn't a Rendog video this week, he's cast a shadow long enough to not just take out Scar, but also actively threaten Zomb Cough Cough Cleo, as the unprankable base might be unprankable, but it is super non-resistant to an ominous banner.
Ren, who has been on recently, has Mark of Death my base.
Clearly familiar with the tradition of the Black Spot, the Pirate Queen vacates the premises for the island of Tour de France, where she builds up a general store and a neat small-town church, only to then blow both up with cannonballs.
It's got this guy having a bit of a problem. Let's call it a problem.
And speaking of bowls, here, Tango Tech, eat some soup. It's good for you. Just kidding, it's Azuma's Wither Stew he swapped the gold apples for.
What'd I get? What'd I get?
How did you even fall for that? It's literally called suspicious. The main thing Tango works on this week is the Double Dragon Tower, and it's fair to call it that now because it really has a dragon on it. One of the hugging Twizzlers was given a giant dragon head on top, which will no doubt be a pain to mirror onto the other one.
I think it's pretty cool. Overall, I'm super happy with this. It's not bad for my first dragon ever.
As always, the Hermitcraft server delivers the tastiest poetic irony, because while Tango was coming to terms with his dragon head, Iskall was also getting used to a dragon head, albeit on a different scale.
No, you gotta be kidding me!
So after a flashback where that happened, Iskall decides that destiny will run its course, and Grian will be cursed with a dragon head no matter what. The trick is to convince Grian to willingly take his armor off and trigger a dispenser during a competition where everyone on the server is expecting to be assassinated at any moment. Amazingly, Iskall manages it by convincing Grian that blast protection armor is going to save him from TNT traps and setting up an armor dispenser in the Architect bunker, then even demonstrating it himself to convince Grian it isn't a trap. And thus we end up with Quadruple Dragon.
You look fantastic. You look fantastic.
Guess we're Dragon Bros now.
Naturally, with two of the three architects now lizard-faced, they decide it's Mumbo's turn to join the Dragon Bros. That shouldn't be too difficult, since Mumbo is spending a lot of time AFK at his industrial area, enough that he regularly logs back in to find some half-hearted TNT traps hovering above him.
I'm gonna go ahead and place a TNT here, and a button there.
Goodness me. I have a piece of TNT above me.
Not that he needs to fall into any traps, considering the amount of times he nearly crashes out of the competition by taking a bath in lava.
Oh my goodness! No! 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 Please no! Please no!
The reason for all the AFKing is the iron farm, which he sets up in the industrial area after bringing a few test villagers over and eventually establishing a villager breeder in order to populate the rest. Mother Nature has other ideas though.
That has me nervous.
What just happened? What? What just happened? No way! They just got struck by lightning right in front of me, all of them. That has to be a joke.
Despite these setbacks, some of the villagers mysteriously survive, and Mumbo wisely puts a roof over them before breeding up a new batch to go into the farm.
Simple as that. This one guy survived, so I think I'm going to use him to kind of repopulate the entire area. No! Why did you jump into the lava, dude?
With that taken care of, he cautiously returns to his demise bunker to investigate rumours it's been trapped, but the only trap he can find is an obvious trap chest at the end of his corridor, which doesn't seem like it would have done much at all.
Oh! Wait, hang on, was that the trap?
To pull back the curtain a little, the TNT block was Cubfan deciding to take Mumbo's life away, and the trap chest was Jevin, as he was applying himself strategically at particular hermits' hideouts. Outside of the obvious mustachioed friend, Jevin has hit Joe Hill's statue cavity, placing active and non-active redstone all over for extra paranoia, and Impulse's base, though this one is more subtle than the others.
Disabling one of these levers might end up being very, very bad for the person that's by it.
For a much more to whom it may concern practice, Jevin also placed several basic instruments of death throughout the server and secured his own house in case a vindictive server mate decides to go for where the heart is. Which would be excessive seeing as how he all but had a heart-warming party for the Snowflake Lab, especially now that the gummy centre is dried out, dug up and expanded upwards for a lookout platform that makes the whole thing look fittingly like a beaker.
It definitely makes it feel not like a snowflake. Yeah, Hermitcraft Recap making fun of my snowflake. How dare you?
The vindictive server mates in the meantime discover his previous mischiefs. False Symmetry, for one, finally found those buttons he sent her. All over her place, like a glitter bomb.
But why though? Oh, guys. Oh no. Jevin, you do not know what you've done right here, dude.
Opting to deal with it sometime on stream, she instead leaves for her Patreon Sea Temple, although stops by the idea store for some items and inspiration.
No, stuff it. I don't like them anymore. They've cornered the market on the stuff that I already sell.
And inspired she no doubt is, since she then proceeds to make shelves for patron heads all over the place as if this really was a very bizarre build, a person store. But while we're on the topic of people wearing weird heads, yep, he's finally out of exile, which, by the way, was entirely voluntary.
And worst of all, I have been usurped. Reports have reached me that a new vigilante has surfaced on the Hermitcraft server.
The poetic truth of the Duck Girl vs Poultry Man is, of course, that he literally handed her both the mask and the resource pack, so I guess it's true that we create our own villains. But I swear, if their mum's names also turn out to be Martha, I am exiting the theatre. In the wake of the premiere, the Poultry Cave is revamped, because when in doubt, add white concrete. Alas, something tells us there's not going to be a chicken guy for a while now, because, you know. And finally there's TFC, who wages war on chicken kind in a much more psychological way.
The chicken is now named Turd Muncher, so...
After getting into the finer points of banner design to finalise the mirrors in his vault, and finally tracking down the space inside his piston door where those occasional mobs were spawning, TFC recognises that there may be trouble ahead. Rumours of other hermits trapping bases have reached his comments section, so he investigates his tree farm for hidden traps, ventures outside briefly to confirm he's been marked by the grim Rendog, and decides to hop on the trend of building a demise bunker. His defences are literally ironclad, and since he didn't show himself getting to or from that location or flash the coordinates on screen while he was there, it might be hard for the dead team to pick him off. Something tells me the teleporter he's using to escape is a bit too fictional to be trapped, but we'll have to wait and see. And that's just about it for this week's recap. Our writer is ZloyXP, and my name is Pixelriffs. In the end screen theatre today is the most expensive Minecraft skin you can make. Wait, we pay for skins now? What? And Zloy prompting the people he plays with to prank each other for Christmas. Don't forget to leave a like on this video while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.